Hi everyone, welcome. How are you doing? Apologies for starting a little bit too late. I hope that you guys are doing well. Happy weekend. I hope that you're safe, you're keeping well wherever you are. So this is your first time seeing me. My name is Lola, and on this YouTube channel, I like to talk about things relating to my faith. I like to talk about relationships, also all things self-development. I'm kind of hoping to, speak and to post more about music and all that kind of stuff. So before we get started, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please make sure you click that subscribe button. Also, make sure that you press that like button to let me know that this session or this content is of value to you. And also make sure you comment as well during the live session if something resonates with your spirit or something that you want to ask or just note, just put in the comment section so that we can have some kind of dialogue going on, because it's just me talking and I can't really hear what you guys are saying. So you commenting will let me know what is on your mind, right? So just to say as well that I'll probably be looking down because I've got my notes. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to get too carried away. I want to really, speak on the things that we're supposed to speak on. So again, happy weekend. I hope you're all right. Get a comfy place to sit down, get a juice, get snack or whatever, so that we can really enjoy this session. So if you've not already read the title, today we're going to be speaking on mental health, and we're going to focus on depression and suicide in men, because I honestly feel like this topic is something that's not really discussed much, or people don't really pay too much attention to it, and that's why I've decided to kind of talk about it as well. So since I'm not a man, I've decided to bring a guy on, so that he can share things from a man's perspective, and it will probably make more sense that way. So I'm hoping not to take too much of our time. So stay tuned, post this on your story, share the link to this YouTube, to your WhatsApp, your Instagram, and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll just get started. I'm going to bring my guest on now, and we're just going to get started because I know it's the weekend and people want to relax and get ready for the week. Yeah? So put in the comment section if you can hear me well, you can see me well, and during the live session as well, if at any point you can't see me or hear me, or you can't see or hear the guest, just put in the comment section so that we can try and solve the situation, right? Okay, good stuff. So I'm just gonna bring my guest on now so that we can get started. Okay.
All right. Hi, Lola.
How are you doing? Good evening. Happy weekend. How are you
Happy
doing?
weekend. Thank you. Thank you for having me on board.
I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for thank you for joining our session. I was really, really excited to have a guy come and speak, on this topic, because I feel like I'm not a guy, so it would be nice to get to get views from a guy's perspective, if that makes sense. Anyway, before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself, tell us what you do, your hobbies, so that we can just get a feel of who you are.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Ademola Daniel. Bashir is my last name. I'm a solicitor, and I like to listen to music. I like to joke a lot, just throw bands everywhere, just joke. And I like to meditate because I feel like that's where victory comes inside your mind. And so that's a little about myself. Thank you so much. I'll just go straight into this subject of conversation. It's a very passionate topic for me, and the reason is because, listen, yeah, and I like the fact that we are paying attention to the things that matter, okay? And the reason is because the victory in life starts with the mind. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're whatever it is, if you're gonna ever have victory in life, it starts with your mind. And so whatever happens inside your mind, it becomes your reality. And so today we have a society where a lot of things happen to men, and we've made it seem like it's wrong. Okay, we made it seem like it's not heard of that the man cries. We made it seem like
Okay, we can't see you anymore. If you can hear.
same as the woman as well, and they have emotions. Okay, and so what it means is that we are made in God's image because God has emotions as well. And so today I'm going to be, everything I say to you today will be very profound, and I want you to take it home. Before we go on, I had to apologize to the Lord, and the reason why I did that was because when I was coming, I there were some things that I didn't want to say because I wanted to be diplomatic, and I would just say that I would not do that. I would say the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay. First and foremost, when I looked at the statistics with mental health in Ireland as far back as 2017, we realized that out of every 10 cases of people who 8 were men. It's a staggering statistics. Okay. Now, we've made it seem like men should not do certain things. And so they've gotten to a point where rather than open up and say that this is what I go through, they'll rather kill themselves. And so that is a dangerous narrative. And if going forward we need to change it, some things needs to be done. There was a study, and because I'm Nigerian, obviously, I have my points here. That's why I said everything I'm going to say will be backed up with facts. It says that it's a study that we have here. Nigerian men in 2019 committed more suicide than women. Now, it's not a comparison, but this data shows because the topic we're bordering on shows how much we've overlooked the men, and these people are crying for help, and it's sad. Now, I will explain depression and then I will explain why before someone. So, when people say, I will never kill myself, when people say, I can't get to the point where I'm going to, me, never. Why? It means that you don't even understand the concepts because depression, and I'm going to give you a definition of a depression and I'll tell you why it leads to suicide. Okay. And here, and I'm using science because obviously science and religion or whatever, they're intertwined. You need to understand it. You don't discard one. Science is good, it has its flaws. Okay. But the definition is profound. And I have it here. It says depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. Okay. Also called major depressive disorder, clinical depression. It affects how you feel, and I'm bringing it home. I'm going to be explaining it. It affects how you think, it affects how you behave. It leads to a variety of emotional and physical problems. You may have trouble doing your normal day-to-day activity. Now, I want to give us some symptoms. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about, and I'll take it in layers. Okay. And why depression then leads to suicide. The reason is because there are a lot of information that a lot of people take into, okay, and then it brings a feeling of sadness. And then when you stay, because depression is like a bottle, right? When you stay so much, when you put something
Sorry,
in the
Demola,
bottle
just a
for a
quick second.
period of time, okay, when it stays there for that period, it becomes concentrated, right? Now, what happens is that when it becomes thick, it leads to a point where people want to then
Demola, just a quick second.
they have no
I'm
reason to
getting
stay
a
in that
message
bottle
here that
anymore.
says the audio is so quiet.
What did you say? Can you hear me? Good.
So I don't know if it's green. The person has said the audio.
Oh, the audio is cracked, but you can hear me, yeah?
Is your phone on speaker?
I'm not. I think so. I think it is. Are you good?
Can you please-
I should keep going.
Have you taken your phone off speaker?
What did you say?
Oh, on my side, guys.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
figure
can hear
out
you
what.
as well.
Right. Okay.
Should I keep
Is
going?
that any better, guys? Let me know in the comment section. Is that any better? Just a second. Just
Okay.
make sure that coming from my. Can you put in the comment section? You can now. I need to crack.
What did you say?
Is that better? Can you hear me? Okay, guys. Right. Okay. That's fine. Sorry. You can continue. I just make sure the audio was alright.
Okay. Good. All right. So, yeah, that's fine.
All right.
So there are several symptoms and signs. So those kind of people, they feel a feeling of being sad, they feel down, they feel exhausted, they feel confused in thinking. And those are the signs because like they've gotten to that point where they feel that way. And then they withdraw from friends and family. And so anybody who's around them at that period is supposed to support them because at that point they may not even know why they're doing that, but it's a product of the feeling that they feel from the depression itself. Okay, and sometimes they would experience
Right.
significant tiredness, energy loss of problems, okay, hallucinations. Now, inability to cope with daily problems. They feel like every time overwhelmed, this problem is too much. Or how am I going to cope with work and all of that as well? These are the signs. Sometimes these people experience excessive anger. And so the list is endless itself. But what I would say is that when people experience things like this, they need a support system. Unfortunately, that is the part where Africans in general lose the ability to help one another because we trivialize a lot of the pain that people go through. And so we say things like, why are you depressed? I mean, you have good grades in school. Why are you depressed about this? Why are you depressed about that? And so, unfortunately, instead of us to have a support system for these people, we've made everybody then keep the pain that they experience, especially the men. And so, going forward, I would say that to advise people who have maybe siblings who are going through this is to seek medical help. I mean, ring out to someone, calls either a therapist or someone who can help them, with whatever it is that they're going through. If not, you would experience other things that they do not bargain for, unfortunately. Now, there's a very important side that you've asked me to touch about, and it's the cultural side to our reaction to mental health, which is the problem today. So we have a family unit system where we talk down on children, we talk down on their ability,
Okay.
and what happens is that we grow up to find adults who have low self-esteem. We grow up to find adults who are depressed. Why? Because while growing up, they were not properly. They had parents who, if they had properly raised those children, they would not be where they are today. And so we have a lot of people who don't even know
Guys, can you
that
guys
they are
hear me?
grossly
Can you put
traumatized.
in the comment section if you can hear me?
What did you say? Yeah. So
Can you guys hear me?
we have
Can you
Adam.
hear me here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But I can't hear.
I could hear you well. Can you hear me now?
Why are we? Okay. Can you say
Can you
something?
hear
I
me now?
can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Really?
Okay, I'm gonna re-add you from right, just hold on. Sorry about this, guys. Just give us a quick second.
Okay. So,
Okay.
like I was saying, um, so we have a situation where we've raised the culture of silencing. We've raised the situation where people who should seek help, people who should be raised properly, and so we have where people have bad grades in school, people have parents who abuse them, and so they grow up. And so today, when I see news, when I see situations where a lot of people have lost their lives, the reason that has happened is because the family unit system has been attacked. And the family unit system is where you should have healthy self-esteem, you should have happiness, you should have all of that. If it's lacking, the children are going to grow up and they're not healthy adults. And so there's a generational shift from one place to the other, passing generational trauma. Keyword, passing generational trauma to one generation to the other. And so that's a problem. So now, another thing is that we don't like to go for therapy. We, we talk down on therapy. We say to people, oh, never. It's never going to happen. Me, talk to somebody. I'm not mad. So I don't need a psychiatrist. I don't need a therapist. Unfortunately, sometimes there's a lot of pain inside of a lot of people, and they need to talk to somebody about it. But if you don't, you would never know. Okay? And you would never get healing for something that never was spoken about. And so they don't get healing for it, unfortunately. Now, something is brewing in Nigeria. At the moment, there are people who are getting the sensitization, who are knowing that listen, mental health is happening, people are going through it, okay, and because people are going through it, they should seek help, they should get help. And so I would link. I have another point. You will have a dialogue with Lola. Social media and mental health, they come hand in hand. And so we have a generation where whatever it is that is projected on the media, whether you like it or not, it goes into your mind. And when it goes into your mind, you think about it, and then you want it to act your reality. And because you won't bring what is in your mind into reality, you become sad and depressed. Now, scripture says that guard your heart, which is where I'm going to now. That if you guide your heart with all diligence, because listen, out of it comes all the issues of life. So, if you mind what comes into your heart, into your mind, then you will not be a victim of circumstances of that. Why? Because scripture says, seek first the kingdom. Now, so if you seek first the kingdom, it means that in seeking the kingdom, there are things that cannot happen. Now, listen, I would go to the story of Adam. When the original purpose of man obviously was not to fall. But listen, the man, the new creation man can not, quote me, should not, because man is spirit, okay? And if you constantly stay in spirit, there are things that will not happen. And so I would say to you that you may a lot of people will not agree with me, but listen, depression coming from a spiritual side is a foul spirit. And by understanding that, because listen, God, everything that God created is good. And so if you come out of what God created, then you see evil. And so listen, the new creation man is not designed to be depressed if he follows the law of life. That's it. So can a new creation man, should a new creation man be depressed? No. Can he be depressed? Yes. It's a choice. And so if he follows the law of life, he says if you stay in the spirit, you will not fulfill the desires of the flesh. And so we have a generation here who have constantly listened to what should not be money, mammon, and the things of life. But listen here, if you stay in the spirit and understand the plan of God for your life, then it should never happen. Because listen, let me share the story with you. Yeah. So Jesus gathered with 12 disciples, and they were supposed to tell you how many times that his disciples got confused when they are around Jesus. Because see, Jesus was constantly in the spirit, obviously, as we all know, every time in the spirit. And sometimes he will ask his disciples, who do people say I am? Who do you say I am? Because he wants to know. But unfortunately, one of the disciples was concerned about the bag, the money in the bag. It's in the scripture. The other one was concerned about how he wants to sell Jesus. And the other ones like that, like that, like that. So if you live, and that's why, listen, that's why the book of John is one of the most profound books. And the book is titled John the Beloved. And the reason is very simple. John was the only one who put his head on the chest of Jesus. And it's called John the Beloved. So if you stay in the spirit, there are things that should never happen. But if you go out of the desire of God, then things happen. And so I would say this, the way to go about it as faith-based people, because when you introduce the talk show now, you said it's a faith-based, and which is why we are sharing. It's faith-based. If you stay in the faith, if you stay in the spirit, and you stay according to the word, because the word is the living word, then it should not come near you. Why? Because you are in life. Like, that's life. You are living life. And so as I round off, I would say that we should mind what comes into our mind. Very important. What comes into our mind, what comes into our thoughts. And listen, whether you like it or not, whatever it is that is in your mind becomes your actions. And then you see yourself play it out. Every time that they approach Jesus, said, hey, I'm in my father's job. Study the story of Jesus. And every time they saw him, he stayed. But when we go out to do something else, then there's a problem. And so that's it, man.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you now.
So you made a very valid point there, saying that if you are in Christ, if you are guiding your heart, if you are dwelling in Christ, right? Depression or suicidal thoughts should not come forth. That's the point that you stated. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So is that okay? Is that say that as a believer, any depressed or anytime that thought, that means that you have removed yourself from communication with the Father.
Okay,
Is
thank you
that
very
what you're
much
trying
for
to
the question. No, no. So
say?
scripture says God
Okay.
make sure there's something that is
Mm-hmm.
coming. So thoughts
Right.
always come. They will come
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
if thoughts came to Jesus, devil came to whine Jesus. He say, "Shey whine me." Devil came to deceive Jesus, and Jesus heard the conversation, but he used the word to guide it. So thoughts will come. Am I worthy? Am I enough? Am I this? But you will guide it. As a faith-based believer, you use the weapon of the word to guide it.
Okay. That's fair enough because the only reason I verify that I don't want people to think as
Okay.
young believers that you will not go point or you cannot get depressed because on the Jesus was I didn't say he was depressed, but he was low in mood. I mean, he was
Mm-hmm.
crying out to God and telling God that if this be your will, I will go for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he was crying out to God in a place of pain, in a place of agony. He was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important. I just want to kind of clarify that as a believer, don't think that you're going to have a smooth and a perfect Christian walk where you're not have downtime, you're never going to feel low or stuff like that. And Elijah as well is a perfect example. When Jezebel was sending for his life, a powerful and anointed man of God that done great things. He found himself in a load. He found himself wishing for death. So my point here is that we should not expect perfection as a
Mm-hmm.
Christian. Yes, those
Mm-hmm.
are for us, but don't go through this Christian walk and thinking, oh, everything's going to be rosy and perfect. I'm never going to feel down. No, that's not the case. So I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
clarify that because I
Yeah.
feel like someone might. Sorry, go on.
Yes, so to add to what you said, scripture says that they got to a point where Jesus said, "My Father, why have you forsaken me?" That's a place, that statement is very deep because it comes from a place of pain. And so there will be very low ends in life. Scripture says, when you pass through the water, when you pass through fire, those are very trying moments. But it is those things that build your character, those things that build the person that you would be. So then, even Jesus learned obedience through suffering. Those things will then now make you the finished work, the finished believer that you are supposed to be in itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that story of Jesus on the way to the cross in the Garden of Gethsemane is so beautiful for me because every time it really shows if Jesus through such pain, such still able to go to the cross. That means any low points that we have in our life, they've not come to wipe us out. Like you said, they have come to build our character. And the
Mhm.
battle has already been won. I was talking to my dad a few days ago and we
Yes.
were praying about something, telling him about something, and he literally just told me like the battle is already won. So there's no
Yeah.
need to fear or feel like this depression is going to overtake me. This is going to, you
Mhm.
know, before I go further, I want to shout out to my mom and dad because I know they're watching right now from Ireland. So thank
Yeah.
you, mom and dad. I appreciate you and thank you for watching. So shout out
I
to you
love
guys
them.
at
I
home.
love them.
So thank you for that contribution. I think it's very important for us to note that the temptations, the trials has not come to wipe us out. It has come to build our character, like you said, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't hear what you said the last time.
Guys, if you
Guys,
can,
if
you heard what I.
what
I'm not sure
I'm
they
not sure
heard.
they heard.
No.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
guys, if you can.
Guys, if you can.
Anyway, I'll just move forward and hopefully, okay, hopefully they can still hear me. Right. Guys, just put in the comment section and let me know if you can still hear me. Okay, right. So I'm just gonna wait for Jamila to rejoin again. But while he's kind of gone, I really wanted to emphasize there that as a born again believer, as a Christian, we have to have in mind that trials will come, downtime. There's time where you just want to even give up. You're like, you know what, this life, I don't want to be involved anymore. But like he said, come to build your character. They've come to strengthen you and sort you out. So I think that's what I'm like. Hey, can you see me? Hear me? Good? Yeah?
What did you say? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. You can. Right, okay. So I want to paint a scenario and I want you to make a comment
Okay.
because I feel like or some experiencing what
Okay.
right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're gonna paint a scenario. Mm-hmm.
And mute your mic while I'm talking. Can you
Okay.
so that right. So the scenario I want to paint is that if you are I'm back. The devil is alive.
Welcome back. Happy to have you.
The devil is random. And we shared already. Think about knowledge or it will probably some people's memory and things like that. Anyway, so I want to get your views and your
Lord have mercy.
someone
It's
watching
really
this right
cracking.
now. And
Hmm.
yeah, you can't hear.
I can hear you now. So go for it. I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So I want you to make a comment on a scenario where maybe you're a single parent, you have, you have a band, and the you see that showing signs of depression, and you can also online feel that like that, and you don't know what to do. You're thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, saying to yourself, okay, do I go and confront this person? How do I even confront them? What do I even say? How do I even say it? Because I know that there'll be someone watching this right now and they're thinking, oh, well, because let me just be honest with you guys. So I was in this situation a few years ago, right? Where someone close to me, I saw them like, searching on their phone and on their laptop about, wanting to, they were literally searching on Google how to kill yourself quick. And in that moment, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do in that moment. Because first of all, obviously, I have to explain the person why I'm looking at their phone in the first place. So I was kind of like, this is not gonna go down well. So I kind of want you to make a comment on this, Demola, on how you can go about it. If you have a boyfriend, you have a husband, husband or a brother who you see that maybe they are buying things that can harm them, or they can use to maybe hang themselves, or very, crazy things. Can you just share, what they can do or how they can go about it?
Mute your mic because I think that it works magic when you mute your mic and then I can talk. I think that way because I heard you very clearly. So good. First things first, it will be a painful incident, obviously. But you see, how you react from when you saw it can decide that can determine whether or not the person killed themselves or not. And so in that instance, instead of going into panic attack, oh, I'm disappointed that this person can do this, whatever the case may be, I feel like because we're in a faith-based platform, the first thing really is to take it up to their creator. Okay, first things first. But I also think that when doing that as well, they should seek medical help. Let's not remove one from each other because God created science. And so if they've gotten to the point where they are looking for how they can take the life that they have, which is precious. Because I think that if people see how much precious their life is and their purpose, they will not want to. I want to believe so. Okay. So in that instance, I feel like having prayed and then helping them to seek medical help and everything, you then help them through the process because it's a difficult. They've gotten there, but they didn't get there overnight, so they're not going to come out just like that. Okay. It's through patience and helping them through and then bringing them out of the situation. And you need to understand the situation because you see, unfortunately, we grew up in a society where people had made it seem like it was wrong to be sad. And so a lot of people are sad, they are depressed because of how they were raised, and hateful words have been said to them as well. So for people to get people there's a build-up of events. I'm not worthy enough. Maybe this is not working fine. So they've gotten there, and so those things need to now come out of their mind, and they need help. And so it will be hard, obviously, but they need to be helped and helped with all the resources that is available.
Okay, so if you just mute your mic now. I think that is right. So I think, like you said, the first thing is not to panic, because I feel like there will be someone who, you will go through this situation and you're watching this right now, or you watch it in the future. You see someone close to you who's a male, and you see that maybe they're contemplating suicide. Maybe you see them buying a rope, or you see them Googling something or whatever. Like you said, the first thing is don't panic. And you have to be careful of your words. Like you said, this is not the time to now start reminding them. You know that people who kill themselves, they are going straight to hell. This is not the time for those kind of words. This is not the time to be reminding them of things that, they've done wrong. Like, do you remember, why you couldn't do this, or blah, blah, blah. Just, this is not the time for it. This is the time where you build them up, you know. So you've seen the thing, you've seen whatever they want to do, you build them up with that. You pour out love to them. This is the time you remind them, do you know you're so loved? I love you so much, my brother. I love you so much, my boyfriend. I love you so much, my husband. You pour into them, plan things, like do other things, you know. And even if it's, having a leaflet to see a counselor or a therapist or whatever, sneak it under their pillow or somewhere they'll see it. And I mean, if you're lucky enough to be in a situation where you can have back and forth conversation with the person, perfect. But we all know that's not the case. Most of the time, people who are on their way to, having extreme suicidal thoughts and all that, they don't want to have a conversation. So it's this subtle things they can do, to help. Putting a note somewhere, speaking to an authority figure, maybe that person can get through to them and things like that, right? And I pray to Almighty God that if you are in that situation, God will grant you wisdom and knowledge to be able to handle it, because it's very delicate. Like he said, the way you react to that situation will determine if that person will actually go ahead and commit suicide or not. So we just need to ask God for wisdom as well while dealing with something like this. I mean, when I had that situation a few years ago, the first thing I thought of was just to pray. I prayed, and then I spoke to someone that was older to say, okay, you know what, this is what I found, this is what I've seen. Can you kind of intervene? Because I don't know what else to do. This person is clearly not ready to have that conversation with me. And thank God that the person is still alive today. They are well, they've not followed through. I mean, they are even flourishing now. So really, so what we're saying, it's the truth, it works, right? So I suppose just to kind of end things and stuff like that. I know that we've had a few connection issues and stuff like that. But what I'll try and do is maybe put some bullet points in the description box, and people can learn from it as well, right? So I want us to kind of briefly, right, talk about stigmatization in our culture. This thing of like, oh, if someone is depressed or if someone wants to kill themselves, they are very weak, or it's like they're ready to go to hell. I've heard someone say that as well. Oh, you want to kill yourself? You want to go to hell? Or it's people that are like just negative and weird words I've heard people say. So I want you to speak on the stigma attached to being suicidal and things like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'm just gonna say that to be able to to make this not continue happen, we would have to embrace people speaking their truth, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. If that's their truth, then don't shut them down. This happened when they were growing up. It's a boy of this 10, 5, you're finally telling them shut up. That didn't happen. And so they grow. When they go through abuse, when they go through pain, they don't want to say, they don't mention it because they will be shut down. And so today we have a society where 25-year-olds cannot express themselves. 30-year-olds cannot express themselves. Their parents are still telling them, oh, so situations will happen to them, and then they would ask them, oh, don't go, don't see anybody, there's no need. In fact, and unfortunately, we have graduates of guardian and counseling in Nigeria, people who study psychology, therapy, they're not using the degree because the society does not give room for people to harness that gifting because and so that way you have traumatized adults everywhere, and which is why like the society is that way, because everybody, some people many people don't know they are, because there's an history of a long period of time of silence. And so there is a platform coming up, a app coming up, that's Adia. And what Adia is looking to really do is to get Nigerian youths to speak up. Because we found out that, listen, some people just want someone to talk to, which is why, like, by the grace of God, myself and Lola partnered and said, whoever it is after the life who's willing to talk, it will be very confidential. You wouldn't even know who you're talking to or who is canceling. If you feel like you've got to a point where it's too much for you or things are modern, then we'll be willing to help all through the way. And so what Adia really does is that you can just go into the app and make a call, and a counselor will be available for you to speak to you, because we don't want to continue to lose our youths because they're the future. And so and the rate at which people die now, it's shocking. Like, people kill themselves and write notes, beautiful notes explaining why they needed to kill themselves. It's, as a parent, it's heartbreaking. And so that's why things like this that's why if you're a man, bro, open your mouth. I have people that I open up to when things get to my neck, because you can't carry life alone. You can't. And so we need to destigmatize it and let people know that it's okay to open your mouth to say, I need help. It's very okay. If you're young, it's okay to ask for help. If you're old, it's okay to ask for help. If you ask for help and people call it a weakness, they're not wise, unfortunately. And so this is the way to go around it. Let people know that they have people who would listen to them without judging them. and let people know that people more you keep your pain, you will then raise a child who keeps pain, and then there's a generational trauma, handing over pain from one generation to the other generation.
Wow, that is so deep. Handing over trauma and pain from one profound. I'm going to put that in the comment section as a quote because that is so deep, right? I heard this quote a while ago where it's like, hurt people, right? If you're in a lot of pain, way to release it, right? And so, like he said, Ademola has kindly kind of given the opportunity to one or two people who, watch this live. If you feel like, there's something or you just can't handle it anymore, or maybe you are even at that stage where you're like, you know what, I just want to give up. You can DM me on Instagram. My handle is Lola KG. You can DM Ademola as well, and then we will just forward that message to the counselor, someone who's trained and qualified. I'm not trained and qualified to counsel people, but the counselor is. So use this opportunity. There's no shame in it. Anything you discuss, I won't be involved in it. Demola won't be involved in it as well. So it's strictly confidential. Okay. I just wanted people to know that in case they're like, oh, I don't even want to. So I think in conclusion, I would like to just say a word of encouragement, and I'll give Demola as well a chance to say a word of encouragement, right? And for me, I want to focus on suicide, right? If you're watching this now or you're going to watch this later on in the future, whenever, what I want you to understand is that you actually don't want to kill yourself. I know it sounds like, but you actually do not want to kill yourself. What you really want to do is you want to stop all the pain. You want all the baggage to be lifted. You want that situation to change. And I know your brain is telling you, your mind is telling you that, oh, the best option is to just kill yourself. No, you actually realize that sometimes when that issue is solved, you are able to, you know, because while I was at uni, a lot of people, would go through this phase where maybe you fail a course or maybe you have to resit a whole year or something. And you hear them saying things like, oh, I just want to die, you know. And it's like, no, you actually don't want to die. What you want to do is for that situation to, to change. So I want to encourage you, if you're watching this or if you're going to watch this in the future, I want you to understand that suicide is not the answer, number one. Killing yourself is not the answer. I want you to think about your friends and your family and your loved ones. I know that right now your mind is telling you, oh, they don't love you, blah, blah, blah. That is life from the pit of hell. You are loved, you are cherished by the Father. When God was creating you, He created you with so much passion, so much energy, so much grace, so much gift. Like, He really took His time when He was creating us, and His spirit is inside of us as well. So that's something to be, excited about. That is something to consider, you know. I don't want to shame anybody. I don't want to, if you do this, if you commit suicide, you're going to hell. I don't want to say any of those things. But I really want you to understand that suicide is not the answer. And I'm really, really, really keen to get you help. Okay. And that is why, Demola has kindly offered to, give two spots or two positions to anyone who needs the help, can speak to a counselor, talk it out and solve the issue and just move on with life. So that's my own deep encouragement to anyone out there who's going through a depressive episode or a suicidal thoughts or anything like that. Demila, I'll let you speak now and just give like your last thoughts and things like that.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. I just want to beg you, if you get to a point where life is a lot, seek help. Seek spiritual help. Pray to your creator. Seek medical help. But ensure that once you get to the point where there is too much, make sure you put it down. Because if you put it down, you'll be able to continue life. And so the sole purpose today, while we're on the live, is just so you to know there's so much in life. There's purpose to fulfill. There's blessings to pass on to generation. There's so many good things that you were there. I don't want to believe that you just came to the face of it, just go. And so just remember that you are a blessing and the world is awaiting you. And whatever it is you now, it doesn't mean that that's where you are supposed to be. It's just the face. And so, Shalom, thank you so much for having us.
So guys, thank you so much for staying on. I know we had a lot of time and listening and all that kind of stuff. What I will do is I will go through the video again and kind of take the important points and maybe put it in my description box below. Again, if this is your first time to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to get more live sessions like this. I have so much more coming up, especially for Valentine's weekend. Make sure you stay tuned to my Instagram story. It's going to be nice. It's going to be a refreshing session. And make sure you like this video as well to let me know that I've added some kind of value, or we've added some kind of a value to your life as well. Make sure you comment as well, and just stay tuned and all that kind of stuff. Again, there's 2 free spots available for anyone who you think you might need it, or whatever it is. Just DM me, send me an email. My email is lolakg@yahoo.com. So that's lolakg@yahoo.com. Listen, whatever you email me, talk about, stays between myself. It's not going to anyone else, right? So anyway, Ademola, thank you so much for staying on despite the whole technical issue and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I will kind of end this live session now. And just enjoy the rest of your weekend. Maybe rewatch this video again. Check out the description box and all that good stuff. Okay, guys, thank you. Bye.